Hello, my name is Keith Jones. I'm a disability rights activist across multiple topics, basically anything that affects life. I am also a co-founding member of Krip-Hop Nation, as well as my political views being seen now as populist and progressive. I am what they call a true progressive.
Okay, Otis, can you go next?
Yes. My name is Ottis Smith. I'm a 28-year-old entrepreneur. I'm also a graphic design artist, founder of Otito Graphics, and I speak politics through my art. Huh? What you said?
You can still go.
Oh, well, I speak through politics, mostly Black politics, using my art, using my comic books, and using my poetry. I'm recently getting into this political world with Black disabled activism and trying to merge it with my Pan-African understanding. That's it.
Okay, great. So I'm Leroy Moore. I live in the Bay Area. I've been Black all my life, been disabled all my life, and I consider myself an independent, more on the radical side than progressive. So that's me, and so this conversation is going to really talk about the candidates, especially on the Democratic side, that's running for president in 2020, and really getting the Black disabled voice of what needs to happen and what's happening now. So we're gonna go on to express our political views, from Obama to Donald Trump. And so let's talk about Obama, then Donald Trump, then we can get into the Democratic candidates. So let's start with Keith Jones. Talk about what was your experience under Obama. What did you think about Obama's run and Obama's 8 years? And what do you think about Donald Trump as a Black disabled man?
Well, thank you for the question. I'm trying not to laugh, so Otis, if I break out in hysterical laughter, please forgive me. But I'm trying not to laugh because they're systemically, in terms of policy and implementation, was no significant change from a Bush era presidency to an Obama era presidency, even to a Donald Trump presidency. The policy underlining disability and the Black existence has not changed in my lifetime, and I'm pushing 50 in September. So the perception under Obama was, yes, hope and change, except being in Massachusetts, we had got the primer with Deval Patrick. So we knew what we had already had in Massachusetts via Deval Patrick. And then when it came to Barack, it was the same thing. Then the nation got to experience it. But, just looking back on the presidency in terms of legitimate, tangible, systemic, long-term outcomes and policies, there's not been a radical change. There's been no progressive change, at least in my lifetime, outside of the things that we go to war for every day: affordable housing, inclusive education, and healthcare.
Okay. Thank you, Keith. Let's go to Otis. Same question. What did you think about Obama 8 years and Donald Trump first? It's been 2 years. It feels like it's been 20 years. But anyway, Yeah, Otis.
I don't think well, like he said, there's no difference. There's never been any difference. Because I believe we never had presidents. We just been subjects under other people's leadership. We never had presidents to speak on our behalf and for our interests. Obama included, especially if you look at his policies, a lot of his policies was anti-black, like the Blue Lives Matter bill. You show me the Blue Lives Matter bill, and then you look at AFRICOM. All he did was he expanded colonialization that the Bush administration started, and he just continued it throughout Africa. So he's no different than any other white president was. He's white supremacy in a black face, if for lack of a better term. He's just white supremacy in a black face. That's why he stood against reparations. He stood against reparations. Meanwhile, he's signing a bill to give Israel, what, $38 billion, I believe, over a span of a 10-year period? So why are you giving Israel $38 billion when we had no direct involvement in the Holocaust, but yet you speak against black political interests? Talk about it might be divisive. The inhumane treatment that Israel is causing is divisive for you to support it. But that's just me. He just a white president in a black face, and all he did for me, he just confirmed that fact that my people, unfortunately, we have no issues with white supremacy as long as it's in black face, and that's why it makes me mad to see when Black History come and I see pictures with Obama standing next to Malcolm X. I see pictures with Obama standing next to Martin Luther King. And regardless about how you feel about either of them, if you really study their teachings and you really study what they was talking about, both of them would have stood against what Obama was doing and did. Neither one of them would have supported Obama, especially if you listen to Dr. King war against Vietnam. He literally stood against American globalization, which is why some people believe he got killed, not because he had a dream, but because he called out America's biggest moneymaker, and America's biggest moneymaker is causing wars. And that's why our annual budget for the military is 500 and something $billion. Like, that's crazy. So he was just an extinction of colonialization. Not only did he ignore us, but he suppressed his own brothers and sisters throughout the continent. So Obama, he just make me sick. And seeing my people celebrate him, it just confirms the fact that we okay with white supremacy. And that, I don't know what make me more sick, him or my people celebrating him. But I don't like him, can't stand him. I prefer Trump, because I don't like Trump, but at least Trump honest. You feel me? At least he honest with his stuff. Like, I don't like you. Feel me? I don't like you neither. You feel me? We keep it going. Obama smile in your face and stab you in the back. So that's how I feel about that.
Wow, thank you, you too. You know, for me, it's almost the same thing. Obama, you know, gave us hope, and you know, hope. You can't go to the bank with hope. I can't pay my rent with hope. You know, I agree with what Otis said, you know, about everything about, you know, African and all that stuff. I totally agree. And I also know that Obama only gave people on his side a $2 raise. A $2 raise. So, you know, yeah, I really think that that Obama didn't really do much for the black community. You know, he did a lot of things for the queer and, you know, transgender community, which is great. I'm not saying that black people are not trans and queer, but when it came to the black community, he really didn't do nothing, especially when police brutality was, you know, really rampant. You know, of course, it's still rampant now. But like Otis said, you know, he signed the Blue Lives Matter bill. So yeah, I really don't, you know, I think it was easier to swallow Obama's politics because we got so relaxed, you know, for the Democrat, and we had, you know, years of, Bush and, of course we had Clinton, but yeah, I really don't think that Obama really did much, especially for Black disabled people. Black disabled people still got killed by the police. We still had only a $2 raise on SSI. Black disabled people still have the highest unemployment rate. We're still in prison, the school to prison pipeline. Obama never talked about Black disabled people at all. So that's my thing. A lot of Black scholars and Black, people that are on YouTube having these, political debates, they don't even talk about Black disabled people. So, yeah. And of course, Donald Trump is this, a racist bigot that got in the White House. So I can't even discuss what Obama has done for Black disabled people. Matter of fact, his, State of the Union last night, he brought up disabled people. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, he said that disabled people, are in the workforce and it's the lowest unemployment in history. It's like, wow.
Hey, listen, if I say I've been dying of thirst for 100 years and you give me a thimble full of water, you can say that you quenched my thirst. So that whole, I'm chuckling because as we talk about it and as you put it out there, as Otis, as you framed it, the question that people don't ask in terms of Donald Trump, in terms of the candidates, Kamala, Cory Booker, or you got Amy Klobuchar thinking about, all of these people. They talk about democracy. People are claiming democracy, which is ironic in this country. But they're claiming democracy, but they're running in a system that is antithetical to democracy. Like I love AOC. She dope. You know what I mean? She was in Beantown represent, but she's in order for her politics to be effective, she still had to run inside the same system that is just as corrupt, that gave us a Donald Trump, that gave us the hope and change. And people forget that Obama, before he got the nomination, there was a huge controversy between him and Hillary Clinton about the delegates. And prior to, you know what I mean? So when I look back at what we're talking about in terms of the future candidates, in terms of all of these people, I don't have, it's not about, can you run, right? But if you are really talking about the reason I'm running is because I want to restore democracy, first of all, you need to take your head out of your butt. We've never really had a democracy, right? Like, we never really had guaranteed ballot access. We never really had a full complement of abilities to exercise our capacity to vote. So when Kamala Harris, Cory Booker, Elizabeth Warren, all of these people, Joaquin Castro, or Juan Castro, I get them mixed up, all these people coming out, but you're still running in the closed primary system that deprives people, unless they're rooting for your team, the ability to pick a candidate. So I don't want to hear anything about what you're going to do for America if you are absolutely dead set on running in the poisonous system that has kept us trapped.
I want to build on, if you don't mind, I would like to build on what Keith said. Now, this is my first time doing this, y'all, so y'all got to be patient with me. But before I came on here, I was doing a little bit more research, and I stumbled upon Malcolm X interview at Berkeley. And he was quoting Dr. King's right-hand man, White Walker, about how he felt about the civil rights movement. And White Walker said, now this is Dr. King right-hand man, right? He said, we have been duped, or at least duped ourselves into believing the chains has been broken when really we've been chained more securely. Half freedom in many instances has been worse than no freedom at all. That's Dr. King right-hand man who's saying sometimes when they give you a little, they take a whole lot more. And you falling for that little will get you robbed even quicker versus you saying, you know what, I'm going to fall back. Maybe this is a trap. Because even Dr. John Henry Clark, he said we had more political and had more social awareness 10 years before the emancipation and after emancipation. 'Cause after the emancipation happened, we thought we was free. And so after the emancipation happened, we started breaking up. We started migrating to the north. We started losing, I don't want to say losing our infrastructure, but we started losing our family unit when we was all together. And we had social awareness. It's them versus us. We had awareness that we are not citizens. You feel me? He also said you have to know the difference between being a citizen and being a subject. And Dr. Claude Anson points that out. If you look at the Constitution of America, when they refer to we the people, they are exclusively referring to white people. When they are referring to property or those who are trodden over, those who have been subjects, they are referring to us. So they wrote the Constitution to refer to two different people. One group was supposed to be citizens and the other group was supposed to be subjects. And right now, I think that's one of the most damaging things Obama have done. He deepened our political confusion. He deepened our political confusion to thinking we all share a common interest. No, what's good for your community might be detrimental for my community. Because as we said, Obama helped every other community, which benefited everybody else but our own. Why? Because we think we're all this big melting pot. That's the lie they told me at school. America's one big melting pot, and we all one kumbaya. But then you go look at the cities, you see separation, you see blacks over here, and you see whites over there. 9 times out of 10, whites got most of the resources, and blacks barely got anything. And then they wonder why the crime rate so high, so they throw the police department in it. You feel me? Like, so they tell you one thing, but they do another. And because we've been sold this dream, we've been sold this lie, we act all confused like, why is this happening? Why, when we look back 60 years later, have we made absolutely no progress? Because you never made any progress, you just fell for the illusion.
Totally agree, totally agree. Thank you, Otis. Thank you, Otis. And we're gonna get on to the Democratic, especially the front runner. But I think all of us have the same political views. Like, the two parties are just one party mixed into one bowl,
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah.
Well, Leroy, you saw it up close and personal when we were there.
Yeah, the DNC.
And I chuckle now because when you talk about the candidates now, like, I have the people who are in the Democratic upper echelon now were the same people a decade ago. Nah, bruh, we can't have too many Negroes running.
Mm-hmm.
If we have too many Negroes running, then it's going to like all of that stuff going on right now in Virginia with the Democratic Party in Virginia. The only reason they got apoplectic was because they was like, oh, all of this stuff done hit the fan right before we gonna have a black woman to deliver our response into the State of the Union. They're not concerned about whether or not there's racial consciousness in the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party, as well as the Republican Party, do not prey on strengths, they prey on weaknesses. They do not mobilize the community. And so it's funny that when you talk about the front runner Kamala Harris, like, how did she get that status? Because she literally just announced. When you start listening to the narrative, they tell you who is viable.
Yeah.
And in the democracy, you're not supposed to be told who is viable. It's a contest of ideas. And if your ideas are trash, then you don't get elected. You know what I mean? But see, that's democracy. That's not what we have. See, what we have is we have the Electoral College, and shut the fuck up candidates. So, like, that's what we have. Like, say what we want you to say, but don't say nothing else and shut the fuck up.
And I think, you know, especially I think all three of us are in California. And, you know, I go back until 91 when I moved here. I saw Kamala Harris, you know, make her moves. And you know, her record, you know, speaks for herself. I don't care if she's, you know, from India or Puerto Rico or whatever. Her record speaks for itself. And, you know, me being, I'm being straight up, me being an activist against police brutality, against wrongful incarceration, and I saw Kamala Harris just put Black people in jail constantly. You know, while she was in the Bay and Sacramento, you know, DA and being you know, the top cop of California, I just don't, you know, just seeing her record, you know, because, you know, be for real, politicians can say anything on the campaign race, which doesn't mean nothing, but the record means everything.
Yeah.
And her record is terrible when it comes to Black people, Black disabled people that she locked up, Black single mothers she locked up. So yeah.
I guess the question, one of the things that's interesting about the Democratic field this year is that the Democratic Party got a hella juice at the diverse candidates. But again, with the Cory Booker, with the Kamala Harris, with the potential Sherrod Brown, with the potential Joe Biden, all of them, instantly funnel into the very thing that is choking our community. Yes, Kamala Harris, and yes, Cory Booker. Here's the question I'm going to ask you. What is your signature legislative accomplishment being in the Senate? And if your signature legislative accomplishment in the Senate is signing on to legislation, because remember, they've been out of power since 2010. Mitch McConnell has run that chamber for the last 6 to 8 years. So Chuck Schumer has been the minority leader. And unless you have significant legislation coming out in the last 6 years, what is insignificant coming out of the Senate? Nothing. Like they have, like we spent $15 trillion on war, just war. Yet and still, all my veterans are either homeless or struggling to get benefits or struggling to get health care or caught up in red tape. If you get a bullet in your ass for this country, you should never, ever, 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 ever have to worry about a roof, worry about food, worry about utilities, worry about anything. Because there's no such thing as, oh man, you dead. Well, here's a new life. Let me send you back to America. Death is permanent. And if you're going to have these people who are running, when you talked about Israel earlier, Ottis, nobody's talking about the fact that when we were growing up, Leroy, remember the big thing was Jimmy Carter and the Palestinians and Israel were working on a two-state solution.
Yeah.
They're still doing it too.
And they still doing it. But if you talk about Mitch McConnell and your boy Chuck Schumer, just last week they brought to the Senate floor an anti-BDS bill, which then prohibits people from using their First Amendment rights. And then, so where are the Democratic candidates on financially supporting Israel, who's violating Palestinian human rights?
Yeah.
Where are you at in terms of the Haitian people still being devastated from the earthquake that was a decade ago? Where are you at on deforestation? Where are you at on Blood Diamonds? Where are you at on Boko Haram? Oh, that's right. You want to talk about Donald Trump.
And I just want to say this one thing y'all cut out. I think it should go on record that Bernie Sanders is one of those supporters. He don't consistently sign bills to finance Israel and send troops to protect them. So while we running around here thinking he's a quote unquote progressive revolutionary, and I don't think you should put those two words together anyways. I'll explain why later. So while we running around here calling him a socialist, he's supporting the very system you think he's fighting.
Right.
Which why I think we need to be cautious just because someone say some cool words like, oh, revolution. No, player.
Yeah.
We fighting for two different things, I think.
Yeah, we is. That's why I try to tell people it's not about the personality, it's about the policy.
No, exactly.
I'd be cool with you all day. I'll smoke a blunt with you, get you high as hell. As soon as you read my policy and you walk out the door talking about I got locked up because I smell like weed, but I was with him. Oh, you didn't read the policy. The policy said that I smoke with you, I don't get arrested. You smoke with me, your ass going to jail. See, I'm cool though, because I got you high. That's how America is with politics and policy. How Donald Trump got elected because our candidates are not about what are they going to do for Otis. Otis, are you going to be able to access small business lines of credit in order to grow your business, in order for you to hire extra workers? Legally. Are you right? Are you going to be able to access a line of credit in order to get a functional, durable medical equipment in order to grow your business so that you can pay market rate rent or buy a house? None of that shit is being talked about. What is talked about, well, you know, Jesse love the kids. We love the kids, right? We love the kids. But if you love the kids, then why are you not talking about shifting the way that you fund public education?
Yeah.
Right? You shouldn't be able to pick out my destiny by my zip code.
Yeah, because all the candidates, and even some of the black community, have been sold charter schools.
Yes.
So you got Puff Daddy over the charter school, and he has all these black so-called Democrats that are, you know, just supporting charter schools and letting Betty DeVos do anything and everything.
This is the part where when you talk about the field, because remember, we don't vote for 2 years.
Yeah.
Like we legitimately do not vote until November 6th, 2020. And they are already out here having like a Democrat, having like a political porn show about who's the sexiest trick on the block right now. The fact of the matter is, America has a $21.5 trillion daily activity in economic engine. We have had nothing to say, okay, we're going to take an economic holiday for their $21 trillion. We're going to take that money for that one day and pay off America's debt, which brings us down to zero. Secondly, we're going to absolve the $1.8 trillion in student debt for everybody who makes under $500,000 or less. That kickstarts the economy. See, that's called policy. But what they keep saying is, oh, we need a black woman. Cory Booker hangs out in Newark. Oh, look, Elizabeth Warren drinks a beer with her husband, and she might be a Native American, or she might not. Kristen Gillibrand talks to white working class. See, here's the euphemism. Talks to working class Americans. Who the fuck is a working class American? If you got a job and you broke, ain't you a working class American?
Yeah.
Like, but who they talking? They're not talking about Otis. They're not talking about me. They're not talking about you. Who they talking about?
And not one candidate has mentioned disability issues.
Nope.
Not one yet.
No, I have a friend who is very active. I've seen people post pictures with Cory Booker saying he's progressive. You know, all these progressive, but bruh, you know, when somebody say we're progressive revolutionary, how you say, Otis? Just because they say revolution.
That's an oxymoron. I guess I'm on one with that progressive revolutionary stuff.
Yeah.
I really don't like it, especially you got people like Nina Turner. Now, Obama put us to sleep and he confused the hell out of us, right? But we think we're integrated and we're really not. We think we got all these rights and we really don't. We think we all good and we citizens when we're really subjects. So Obama rocked us to sleep with niceties, right? Nina Turner is kind of doing the same thing. She just repackaging it in quote unquote new revolutionary terminology. So if you listen to her women march speech, right? She started pulling from people like Harriet Tubman, Malcolm X, and she started talking, quote unquote, talking black issues. Then it diverged into talking about we are one fighting the same war, fighting the same capitalist system. And then if you go to another speech where she was at, where Martin Luther King, I think she was speaking on, it did it again. When you start talking revolutionary, you started talking about quote unquote blackness and black agenda, and then suddenly it diverged into intersectionality, where we all fighting the same struggle. And that's why I said we gotta be real careful of what words we use, because ever since the Black Panther came out, you have to understand they have monetized pro-blackness. White people figured out how to adopt pro-blackness and market it back to your ass as if it's some new stuff. That's why this past Black History Month, you got people like Joe Biden, you got people like Bernie Sanders and Kamala Harris using quote-unquote Black History Month, using Dr. King Day to push their political agenda. The same way Disney did it last year. And I was telling you, Black people ain't about to benefit from this. All they're doing is trying to figure out how to monetize from quote-unquote Pan-Africanism and pro-blackness. And when that happens, the same thing that happened to hip-hop, where they watered the shit down, and it's not as effective no more, and it's more detrimental than it is a benefit. The same thing they did to hip-hop, they are now doing to pro-black teachings. And that's why I say we need to separate what progressive is, separate what revolution is, and even separate what insurrection is. So the reason why I say progressive and revolution is an oxymoron, because I think it's two completely different things. So when I think progressive, I think, okay, we on the plantation, we getting our ass beat 7 days out the week. So now I'm gonna go talk to Master. I'm gonna see Master, instead of beating my ass 7 days out the week, maybe you could beat me 3. I ain't getting my ass beat as much. I'm not off the plantation. I don't have that. It's just benefit. I'm just not being as brutalized as much. It may not be much, but it's still progress nonetheless. Is it not? Is it not? You're not getting your ass beat 7 days out of the week. You're still getting your ass beat, just not as much. That's still progress. Now, what a revolution is, a revolution, you kill Master, you burn down the plantation, and y'all get off and y'all build your own system, just like the Haitian Revolution did. You replace the old with the new. That's a revolution. Progress is you staying on the plantation, trying to further your position on the plantation. So you go from a field nigga to a house nigga. Revolution, you destroy the plantation and build your own system. So that's why I say those are oxymorons when you put them together, and they should not be mixed. Because just like Obama confused us, just like Al Sharpton confused us, just like all these liberals confuse us, all that's doing is confusing the hell out of us, especially if you don't read and you don't actually study your teachers, and you getting all your talking points from the Democrats versus the Republicans, or you getting all your talking points from liberals versus conservatives, or you getting all your talking points from Fox News versus CNN, you about to get bamboozled. Because neither one of them about to tell your ass the truth. You feel me?
And that's why, it is, because I know we got 9 minutes. I'm just say this real quick. But Leroy, I'm looking at the questions, and, and building on what you guys have talked about. And, when you say revolution, like the song be like, talk about a revolution, but they don't really want it.
No.
The one thing that I always joke about, and I laugh at with people, is that there's 2 groups in this country that white America needs to absolutely bow down and kiss our feet. One, that is the descendant of stolen people, us. 2, the people whose land they basically slaughtered their way across to build it upon. Those 2 groups, we have yet to say, you know what? Nobody really talks about what it's like waking up every day to look at the face of your Holocaust, your perpetrator, What is it like to walk down the street and see the descendants of the people who slaughtered everybody you know? What is it like to have to participate in a system that is still raping you and killing you every day? But yet still the only there's two ways to do it. Burn this motherfucker to the ground, right? And start over. Or burn this motherfucker to the ground, start over. Or you start to realize that there's has the least resistance, has the most resistance, and then fucking blow it up and start all over. But because we have chosen not to do the fucking blow it up, it really comes down to these candidates. And if we're going to be true about a societal stitch, right? Like what holds the fabric of the country together, right? Is that you have to really understand that it's not, capitalism is poison, right? So, but if you say socialism, communism, any kind of other ism other than capitalism, right? Because really like Leroy, here's the crazy part. Capitalism in America really is socialism dressed up in drag. Because let a company get sick, right? Like when the auto industry was dying, in pure capitalistic terms, you die. When your business fails, in pure capitalism terms, you are out of business. Unless you're big enough to cloak yourself in the camouflage of capitalism in order to get government social handouts. That's why you had the automotive bailout. That's why you had the bank bailout.
Exactly.
They said, hey, black cripple Negroes, here's your cripple Negro bailout. They sure the hell ain't did that. They sure had the report came out, and this is going to the candidates when they can talk about this. The median savings of a white family is $100,000, or the value or the net worth. The black family, at least in the state of Massachusetts and across the country, has on average a net savings of $8. So when you talk about Kamala Harrison, Elizabeth Warren, Tulsi Gabbard, any Juan Castro, any of these candidates who are coming out and banking on their diversity to get you to participate in the poisonous system that doesn't allow you to be free, right? Then you have to ask yourself, what are you going to do to change those numbers? How do I go from being perpetually looking for you not to be an oppressor to you actually doing your job? Because this is a job interview. They run, you know what I mean? This is a job interview.
Yeah, the thing about all of them is that it's kind of strange, but it's not strange, but it's politics. None of them don't want to talk about black issues.
Right.
They talk about diversity, intersectionality, but they don't want to talk about black issues. And I see them, when reporters say, about black community, they switch it like, oh, we're all feeling, the pressure under Donald Trump. That wasn't a question, it's so interesting. I think, since Obama, even before Obama, black politicians don't want to talk about black issues.
No, and you know why? Because if you talk about black issues as a black candidate and you're running in a two-party system, you instantly become not viable. Not viable means, nigga, you too black to go get white money in order to run your campaign. Exactly. Like the reason everybody's jumping in 19 as opposed to 20, because this is not about can the candidates of color connect with the communities of color, being authentic and talk about their experiences in the broader American context, right? Because like if you heal the black community and the indigenous community, you healed America. Yeah. That's just fact. That's not bullshit. If you heal the indigenous, heal the stolen people, you're good to go. But if you're constantly talking about we're all patriots, we're all melting pots, then essentially you're saying, nigga, your experience don't count. The Wounded Knee is just a good book to read. And all the missing indigenous women that are being stolen from the north don't really matter. And all the black girls disappearing down in Atlanta don't matter. But vote for me because we need the black vote. That's what you
Actually, I'm not trying to cut you off. It's funny you say that. They can't heal Black America. They can't even heal African people. Because if they heal us, that's their destruction. See, we got this notion that they're making money through legitimate means. They're making money through honest business agreements, through honest deals, through stock market. We got this notion that they're not hustling drugs.
Yeah.
We got this notion that they're not into selling human trafficking. You think your government not into human trafficking?
Then you don't know American
their
government.
economy is built off of slavery? See, we got this notion that they're not into the Congo with the child slavery to mine cobalt for technology. So we got this notion that they're not participating in the child sweatshops that China running, because what's the definition of capitalism? The definition of capitalism is maximizing your profit for little to no cost. Feel me?
Yeah.
There ain't no cheaper labor than free labor. That's why they write laws to lock us up.
That's right.
That's why they put puppet leaders in our community as well throughout the African continent, so the people can control their own resources. Because if I have to actually pay for the cobalt, for the minerals, if I have to actually pay for Black athleticism and for Black entertainment, my economy doesn't exist. Because that's not how capitalism works. Capitalism is me making most of the money for little to no cost. So they can't kill us because that's their destruction. And that brings me to the point, Adam Clayton Powell, the second Black Congress leader.
Yep.
He the one who created the war on poverty bill, right?
Yes.
He created the war on poverty bill in order to assist poor Black people. And what did Congress do? Congress co-opted the war on poverty bill, used that so they can make money, at the same time push the eugenics movement in the Black community.
Yeah.
So I got all the resources. I got all the resources now. I got all the wealth. And the way I think we gonna solve poverty is by killing y'all niggas. You feel me? Not regenerating the economy, not tossing money out there so y'all got some resources to build with. Nope. The way I'ma fix it is by killing y'all niggas.
Yep.
So we gotta understand, like, our success is their destruction, and their destruction is our success. It just is what it is. That's what I'm saying. We got either choose to stay on this plantation and stay going in circles, or like, you know what, it's time to burn this bitch down. Because liberation ain't about to come from no political party, because they both are in on it. I think the 48 laws of power said control both sides of the fence, control the options. That's why I always talk about controlled opposition, because that's as important as it is to have opposition. You need controlled opposition. You feel me? You need something that looks like it's for the people when it's really not. But before the people figure out what's really going on, by that time it's too late. Just like the Black Lives Matter Party, or just like the NAACP, or just like the Black Caucus. And mind you, the Black Caucus, I just found out that they the ones who pushed Nixon to sign the war on drugs. So are we gonna shit on them too, or we just gonna talk about the white man when a whole lot of our people helping with this? You feel me? Why for a paycheck? Because they're capitalists. They'll sell us under the bus for a paycheck in a minute. Malcolm X always talk about that.
So let's leave this with one question. We can answer in like 2 sentences. What do you think needs to happen for the Black disabled community in the next 4 years or 8 years?
You don't need to go.
Yeah, Keith, you can go first.
All right. Next 48 years, we need to coalesce and understand where our center of power actually is. And really, the term I put up all the time, you have to think critically, because whatever's put in front of you, just because it sounds good, don't mean it is good.
Otis, you want to go?
I want to add to that. I did write like the 4 different points I think the disabled community should
Okay.
build on, but I'm just gonna build off of what he said. That is so true, and I think that's one of the most detrimental things about Trump, or at least the way we perceive Trump, where we'll say, "Well, I don't care who wins, I just don't want him to win." Like, if you can't have a more dumb critical analysis than that, I don't know what. I don't care who's in office. I just want a black president again. Or I just want my president to be a woman. Like, you have no critical thinking skills whatsoever. You basing your entire decision making strictly off of fear and because you want somebody to look like you, no matter how much they screw you. So I think when everyone else go off the cuckoo nest, where they just saying shit to say shit, I think the disabled community, especially in our dilemma and being as vulnerable as we are, we cannot afford not to be critical thinkers, and we cannot afford to make decisions that look like it will benefit us temporarily when it's going to screw us in the long run. So I think when the well go up the creek while the paddle, we have to remain critical thinkers. And Huey P. Newton said that. Huey P. Newton said that I taught the Black Panthers to be critical thinkers, and even if the decision is not popular, as long as it's a logical one and it makes sense, I told them that's what you go with. Because the majority always go in the wrong direction. I mean, look at where we at. Evidence speaks for itself. We have consistently gone in the wrong direction because we follow popular opinion. Feel me? So just because it's popular don't mean it's right. So stay having critical thinking abilities even when no one else does. And don't just say, well, I don't care who wins, I just don't want him because that's stupid. No critical thinking whatsoever.
Okay. For me, as a Black disabled man, at first I would like to see Black disabled people start their own organizations. I mean, it's just incredible that we're in 2019 and there's, very little Black disabled organizations around this country. I mean, you can't influence politics if you don't have our own organization.
Yep.
I think what Martin Luther King said, that I can't follow you if you're not going my way.
That's right.
So that's number one. Number two, I totally agree. We gotta do more critical thinking than this. Kamala Harris, come on, we gotta look at her past. We can't look at she's Black and she's a woman, so she's good. Come on. This is not this. Come on. We are. We should use our brains. And critical thinking means doing work. You gotta do your homework. You gotta look at the history. Don't look at what they promised. Because, campaigns is like Christmas Eve for the kids. They will tell you everything to get that gift. And the politician is doing the same thing. It's like, are we gonna listen to their promises? Come on. We sit and learn from Obama. The promises is nothing.
Yeah.
So that, and really, for all, Black disabled people, just stay in contact, do what we're doing now, voice your opinion, get out there. Me and Keith was at the DNC, in 2004?
Yeah.
We got shit on, but we were out there and we, did our best. But yeah, I think more, and more, really, more Black disability history, culture, whatever, because our Black community just don't even recognize us. Don't even recognize us at all. They think it's a service. Disability means, okay, you get a service, you get a check, you get some services, and that's it. They don't think internationally, like Black disabled people in Africa and Haiti, so yeah, we got a lot of work to do. You know, outside of the political arena and inside.
Yeah.
Yes,
I want to say this last thing.
Yeah.
Dr. Paul Anderson said the American dream, black people have to remember, the American dream is this. White people came here for free stolen land and free labor. Feel me? So, of course, we can't live the American dream because we are the American dream. Feel me? It's our free labor. That's why you feel like you can't have what they have because it's not meant for you.
Yeah. You ain't never told a lie. Okay.
So any last 2 cents before I shut this down?
Yeah, I'm gonna give you my last 2 cents.
All right.
So Ottis Leroy, I don't know if Leroy told you, I've been debating about running for office. Tried it in 2008, which is why I know about the rotten bowels of the electoral system. But I think there's very few times where America is fertile for a revolution of thought, a revolution of consciousness, a revolution of humanity. And we might really have to do this in 2020, if for nothing else, to force the discussion and force the action. Because if you wait on your savior, well, if you're waiting on somebody to come save you, as opposed to saving yourself, you might just die waiting. So I'm not going. I'd much rather be in the fight than be on the sideline talking about, "Ooh, you got hit." Because if I'm swinging, then I can fight back. I'm sitting on the porch and they shooting. All I can do is duck and pray that I don't get hit. I'm not trying to do that no more. I got kids, so this is a real fight. And they talking the 5 most hottest years on the planet have been the 5 years of my 2 youngest kids. So if those kind of things can't make people break off of their blind fidelity to just a party label, I don't know what to do. But holla at your boy.
All right. Well, I want to say thank you, and I want to say, just realize that we're all Black disabled men. So, the Black disabled woman voice is missing, but hopefully we'll get that next time. But I want to thank you, Keith and Ottis, really keeping it, together and keeping it true and honest.
This is my first time, y'all, so be patient with me.
Oh, no.
I enjoyed it, though. I enjoyed it.
Really good. All right, I'm gonna stop record, but we can keep on talking if you want.